guys, it's Sam here. Uh, I usually don't do videos this late at night. I'm recording this on Tuesday morning. It's almost 1 a.m. here, and it's still Monday if you're on the West Coast. But regardless, I usually don't record videos this late at night or this early in the week. But there is one story that I wanted to cover real quick for a few reasons. And that's that Kathy Griffin, the comedian, and also rabid anti-Trumper, a big left-winger. She's always been a big lefty. Um, she announced today on Twitter that she has lung cancer and that she's going in for an operation to get it removed. In fact, I have her tweet up here, so let me read that to you. And here we go. So, for those of you listening on the podcast version, it says, I've got to tell you something. I have cancer. I'm about to go into surgery to have half of my left lung removed. Yes, I have lung cancer, and I've never even smoked. The doctors are very optimistic as it is stage 1 and contained to my left lung. Hopefully, no chemo or radiation after this, and I should have normal function with my breathing. I should be up and running around as usual in a month or less. It has been a hell of 4 years trying to get back to work, making you guys laugh, and entertaining you. But I am going to be just fine. Of course, I am fully vaccinated for COVID. The consequences for being unvaccinated would have been more serious. Yes, of course, she has to wedge that in there. Please stay up to date on your medical checkups. It'll save your life. Hugs and kisses, Kathy Griffin. Okay, now, I bring this up for a few reasons. Um, one of which is when I first read this tweet, when I first saw that she uh, had lung cancer, when I first saw this, it was trending on Twitter. And so I um I read this tweet, and the first thing I thought of immediately was Rush Limbaugh's cancer diagnosis. And I can still remember that day when he announced on the radio that he himself had lung cancer. And as is well documented on, this show and many others, he was a big influence on me, and more importantly, pretty much the reason why the Whitfield report exists. And he, not just that, but he, basically started conservative talk radio, and in many ways kind of invented talk radio in general and ushered in the era for things like podcasting and whatnot. Um, and it was announced when he had lung cancer. My heart sank, and of course, anyone who, uh, you know, was kind or had any, type of human decency, um, were sending prayers and well wishes to Rush when he was first diagnosed with um, lung cancer in 2019. Um, or no, early February of 2020. Excuse me. And yet the reaction from the left, from those who politically disagreed with him, was that of malice. It was that of, good. He deserves it because he's an evil person and he supported Trump, and he's a piece of shit. He's a vile human being. All of that came from the left, and it was devastating, and it was sickening to uh, you know see that displayed publicly from the far left. And so I thought of that when I first saw Kathy Griffin's diagnosis. And the funny thing about Rush's cancer diagnosis was that I remember thinking when I first heard Rush's cancer diagnosis, and then seeing the, uh, joyful cheerness that the left had over the fact that he had lung cancer, severe lung cancer, by the way. I remember thinking, wow, no one, and I mean no one, deserves this type of ridicule or furthermore, celebration that they're sick. It's inhuman and it's wrong. So, with that in mind, when I saw this today, when I saw that Kathy Griffin announced that she had cancer, I prayed for her. Now, I don't necessarily agree with Kathy Griffin politically. I've criticized her often, uh, for some of the antics that she's pulled. I don't think she's necessarily, I think she's a bit whacked out as far as her views go politically. But she certainly doesn't deserve lung cancer. No one does. And although I may disagree with her politically, and although I might not like her as a person, really, I hope that for her sake and for the sake of her family and friends who do love and care about her, that she makes a speedy recovery, and that she may be more decent to people after this. And you know, this may seem like a no, like well, yeah, obviously no, no duh. But in today's climate, when things are so polarized, I think we often tend to forget the humanity in things. And don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean that I'm all of a sudden going to go soft on Kathy Griffin for some of the stuff that she says politically or, criticisms of conservatives. but I don't think that she deserves lung cancer, and I wish her a speedy recovery. And I can't really remember if this was the case or not, but I I think she was one of the ones who might have celebrated Rush having cancer. I don't know. I don't remember that for sure, but I think I do remember seeing a few tweets from her about that. So the fact that she's now having to deal with this herself, granted, it's a much lesser case. I'm hoping that she pulls through and that this be a learning lesson for her. The other reason why this, really kind of spoke to me is because I have, um, I've known people in my own personal life who have had to deal with lung cancer. And in fact, without going into too many details of who this person is, I actually know someone in my real personal life right now who is currently going through lung cancer. And it's also stage 1. And this person, they caught it early, so that's good news. But even so, um, cancer's cancer, and especially lung cancer is still lung cancer. It's scary. And it's scary for the person who receives the news that they have lung cancer. And it's also very scary for the people around them and in their lives. And for the person who has lung cancer in my life, the first thing I wanted to do when I heard that they had lung cancer, and the first thing I, you know, did after I gave them a hug was I uh I have to admit I cried because it's a tough thing to hear, especially when it's someone you love and care about. So it it is horrible, lung cancer is. And I don't really have any major point to this video other than just be decent to people and do the best to be good to other people that you can be. And I know we're living in a polarized climate and everything is really fucked up right now. The world seems like it's on fire every 5 minutes. But the internet is not real life. And when you go outside and you just talk to people, you find that there are people who are actually humane and kind and care for one another, regardless of political ideology, religious ideology, whatever. Now, there are lots of forces out there that are trying to, corrode that humanity But the human spirit is amazing, and we persevere. And the other thing is, as a result of this person in my life being diagnosed with cancer, I now, and I've had a few occasions for this, with my uncle passing away from liver cirrhosis related to alcoholism a few years ago. And I know it seems cliched, but I value life a lot more. I care more about the people in my life as a result of these various challenges I've had over the past couple of years and the reminders of just how precious life is. I value people more. I value you, the audience. I really do. Um, and I understand why Limbaugh really valued his audience, and it was genuine for him. I know that because I feel a genuine connection with you guys who tune in regularly and who are in the chats regularly. And even if you're not in the chats, who download the podcast. I have people who might not be in the live chats, but who message me on Telegram or Twitter or Discord or any of the other platforms and say, hey, I love your show. It means a lot to me. It really does. And just interacting with people who, we might not agree politically, but we get along well anyway. But there is one other thing that I want to show you, and this does give me hope. So, there were lots of verified blue checkmark left-wing Twitter users who were very critical of Rush, but who also celebrated the fact that he had lung cancer, and then they celebrated his death. Now, I'm going to, for those of you on video, I'm going to turn the view back on of the tweet, but I want you guys to notice something. I'm here on Twitter, and I'm in Kathy Griffin's tweet, and I want to just mention something here. So, Kat Timpf, who is she's a commentator. I wouldn't really say she's full blown conservative, but she's on Fox. She writes, "I love you, and I always have, and also I always will. Anderson Cooper's nothing without you, and neither am I. And we've never met. That's why I'm nothing." So that is a Fox News contributor, largely affiliated with the, kind of conservative sphere, so to speak, right? Then we have The Persistence. That's Scott Pressler's account, and he is, he's a gay Trump supporter. He's the one who kind of helped to start the walk away movement. And yeah, I know there are some audience members who think that whole thing is a grift, but irregardless, he writes, and I think that this is very telling. He writes, "Kathy, I am sending you strength and positive energy. I hope you have a full recovery. You will get through this. While we disagree politically, we can all agree that we should be working together to find a cure or to eradicate cancer." Be well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much the reaction from most conservatives. All of the conservatives that I follow, at least, on Twitter and other social media platforms. They might not like Kathy Griffin that much. They might not agree with her, but they're still praying for her and they're still sending her well wishes. So think on that. And just think on the fact that when it comes to things like cancer and illness, these things supersede our differences of political opinion and ideology, or at least they should. And we should all come together as best we can to support one another and to pray for one another and to just be better uh, to one another and leave the politics and the vitriol out of this. And yeah, I know that the left isn't really doing that these days. The far radical left. But I'm calling on the good, decent liberals, the true liberals, who I know are still out there, to be better. And we as, conservatives and conservatarians, we just all need to, we need to stop politicizing stuff like this. And the fact that people are coming together for Kathy, even though people might not agree with her or support her, is very encouraging. I wish more people had done the same for Rush. I know that there were liberals who probably were praying for Rush. Certainly not any of the lefties, but some of, I guess, the JFK Democrats at least. But these types of things are bigger than politics. And that's the bottom line. And so, once again, my prayers go out to Kathy Griffin for a speedy recovery. And I wish you and your family the best of luck. And God bless. And folks, God bless you all. God bless America. God, freedom, legacy in that order. And I will see you in the next video / podcast. Thanks for watching and listening.